So I wasn't here last Sunday, and I spent a week in Maine, and it just so happened that I have friends that live about 2 hours from, tell me the name of that place, Algonquin, I can't say it, Algonquin, Maine, where B.A., who used to be was our music conductor for about 5 months, was conducting the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And we so enjoyed him here. We were so fortunate to have him for the short time. But to watch him actually do what he does, I had no idea. To watch him conducting the performers on stage, the huge orchestra and the choir all at the same time. And he was in a little pit on the floor. I said, how do they not step on your bald head? And every once in a while, you know, when the music built, you'd watch his body like leap out of this pit and come back down. He took me inside later and showed me how it worked. So the benefit of being in that coolness of Maine and spending time with my dear friends who had moved there, and also getting to be with B.A. You know, it was a quiet time. It was a time of nature, kayaking, hiking, coffee on their sun porch, and of course, some of you saw the pictures of the gigantic lobsters we ate. And I thought I was just going to get to see B.A. perform in the Hunchback. Well, he texted us the night before. We spent the night down there, and so we went and had dinner with him on the ocean, a place on the ocean. And then we thought, well, we'll see the performance the next afternoon. Well, 9:30 in the morning, I get a text saying, do you eat pie? And I'm thinking, well, not usually for breakfast. And so we met him at this little homemade pie shop where our pie was $38, but you could buy a slice for $5 or $6. And we each chose, it took a while because they were very different pies. Each chose our piece of pie, got our coffee. Now, the cast of the Hunchback is put up for free in this old motel unit. It serves its purpose. But of course, one of the first performances, so a retired classical musician saw the show and said, I have a place for you to stay. Of course, right? So he took us to where he was staying, which was this beautiful home on a hill over the edge of the river. And below that, he had his own apartment. Bedroom, living room, great big keyboard for him to use. And then there was the patio, and we got on that patio with our pies and our coffee, and it just overlooked this beautiful lawn. And then it went down to the ocean, the water, and there were lily pads there. Well, we no sooner sat down than guess what happened? The mowers came. We had about an hour before his show, so our time was precious. And here are the mowers right in front of us, and I could feel us talking louder and louder, and I could feel us resisting, you know, that like, why are they here now? You know, couldn't they wait till later? And B.A. was sitting here talking with my friend Pat, and all of a sudden, I started feeling lifted up. Suddenly, there was just the white stones and the lawn and the flowers and the grasses and the trees and then the water and then the lily pads, and the noise of the mowers didn't exist anymore. And I could feel and hear Pat and B.A. over here talking. I could feel them resisting, you know, that noise. And at the same time, I was over here in this space of quiet, this space of beauty, and I knew that today's talk was beginning. Now, what happened because of that noise, because we thought it spoiled our morning, is we had to move inside. And when we moved inside, B.A. has recorded and sent in for Pazzi Awards 7 of the songs he wrote here. And so he put me on the couch and went on and put on the songs he recorded for us. And he sat down and we started singing them. And then I've Got the Power came on. And he, in his usual manner, those of you that were here, you know, he starts pumping that leg. And those of you that sang with him, that energy. Now, you know, I avoid singing. I've been told not to sing. And we just started singing together. It's one of the highest experiences I've had. I did not know what it felt like to sing like that. I could feel that music moving through me. I never even entered my mind that I couldn't sing. And when I was through, my friend was she was mesmerized. And she said, I wish I had recorded it, but I couldn't move. And then I went, oh my gosh, I sang with B.A. Did I sing on tune? She said, you were right with him. So, often, the things that I resist are there to bring me to something higher and better. The music that Aaron just played, it began with Danny Boy, and then it went into, You Raised Me Up. You raised me up. I was raised up above the noise. And in doing that, the resistance disappeared. Today's headlines are dominated with noisy events, aren't they? It's one right after the other. And they're so loud right now, it's easy for us to miss the beauty that's still around us. And so I'm inviting you that in these times when there's just so much going on, so much noise going on, to start looking for the beauty where you least expect it. One of the things I make a practice of doing is when I'm stopped at a red light, I always look out the window if there's grass there and find the little flowers. These little flowers growing in all the noise. And they're so delicate, they're so beautiful. Or I'll look in the face of another car, the driver or maybe a child. And my favorite thing is driving over these causeways. I mean, the beauty when we drive over the water, the clouds, the sky, it's around us. And if I've got the radio on, or if I got in my head what I just saw on the news, and I'm in that, I'm going to miss it, aren't I? There was a major art gallery that at one time sponsored a competition for the best painting on peace. And the painting that won surprised everyone, because it was a painting of a violent ocean storm with the waves crashing against the cliffs. And people looked at it and said, where's the peace in this? But you had to look twice. Because when you looked twice, you would see that tucked into a hollow in the cliff wall was a mother bird on her nest with baby birds under her sound asleep. This is what we're being called to do right now. We're being called to look twice for the beauty under all the noise that's happening in this world. We're being called to raise up to more than we can be by finding the peace and finding the beauty not in the absence of life's chaos, but under it. Do you hear that? Last week, Leslie spoke, and she spoke about the eye of the storm, the center of the hurricane, where the calm is, where the peace is, the stillness is. And then she did an exercise for those of you that were here. She invited you to stand up and to really see each other, to really see the other person, to look beneath the ego, to look beneath the noise of the personality, to the center of that person you're looking at. To, like the baby birds in the painting, finding the place in that person you're looking at, under their storm, finding their center, finding their beauty. One of the books that we study in Unity is this book. Dixie's taught it several times. It's called Eye of the Storm. It's about resistance. It's written by Gary Simmons. And in it, he mentions an ancient Chinese saying that says, embrace the tiger and return to the mountain. And some of you are going like this. Embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. Embrace the resistance. Embrace whatever you're resisting. Because in doing that, I return to the mountain. I return to that sanctuary within myself, that place of speech, of peace, of beauty. So how do we do this? How do we override the tendency to push away the noise, to push away the people, the events, the things that are happening that look and feel bad to us? Because that's what we want to do, right? When we don't like it, we push, we resist. Struggling with my anxieties, struggling with my fears, feeling unsafe, worrying about the future. I attempt to protect myself. I attempt to defend myself by resisting. Resistance keeps us small. It keeps us from rising up, and it reinforces a sense of separation and creates more of the same. Nothing. We were talking about the weather this morning and how different it is than it's ever been before. Nothing is without movement or change. Everything is either coming into existence or going out of existence. Baby is born and someone dies. Our universe is continually moving. Conflict, noise, discord, disharmony set up interfering patterns of energy into motion. Everything is energy, folks. Everything. And when there's disharmony, that energy starts vibrating at a different level. But what happens is all these energies that start to vibrate at different levels, these energy patterns start to intersect. And when they intersect, they become the substance of new creation. So everything's vibrating right now, and it seems bad, and it doesn't seem good. But what if all of this is shaking things up? Because something new is coming. This month's power is the power of understanding. Not our human understanding, our spiritual understanding, that God stands under all things. John, people are putting sweaters on. Do you want to put it up one, please? Thank you. Just one. We are not innocent bystanders of anything that's happening. Life doesn't happen to us. Nothing is happening to us. It appears that way. But life happens through us. It happens through how I see it, my perception of how I'm seeing it. So I can see all this stuff that's happening in the world is horrible and bad, or I can see under it. I can look for the beauty. I did a whole talk on the good that's happening, right? How people are stepping up, how people are serving, how people are coming together. And you're seeing more and more on this on Facebook. These wonderful stories. I just posted one of two young men that dressed as a Jew and as a Muslim walked down the street. And the reactions they were getting, showing that you can come together in this oneness. Divine understanding, and each of you have that in you, is realizing that under the noise that's happening right now, an energy pattern is shifting. An energy pattern is shifting. And it is raising consciousness, and it is bringing something new in, something better into this world. How we find the beauty under the noise of another's words, another's actions, under what's happening in this world. Resistance and fear is only possible, and hear this, when there is a disconnect, a separation from God or from the universal energy pattern. God is love. God is this energy we talk about. We talk about this. There's not somebody up there in the sky. There is an energy. There's an intelligent energy that creates, that moves things. Resistance and fear are only possible when we disconnect from that, when we get out of harmony from it. We exist in relationships to everyone and everything else. And because of that, we unconsciously pick up anxiety and defensiveness from others. If we're feeling separate, if we're not feeling connected to spirit, to that universal energy, when we pick up someone else's defensiveness, someone else's anger or fear, we instinctively do what? We push away. We resist. We try to defend ourselves. We try to protect ourselves. So, my time in Maine was peaceful. I was very centered. And my friend wanted me to meet a lot of her friends, and I didn't want to meet anybody. I just wanted some quiet time. So finally, her best friend, I said, okay, we'll go over there. And gorgeous home, worth seeing the home. Her husband has one whole room dedicated to his books. I could just imagine sitting there in the big picture window on a snowy day. It must be great with all those books. And we sat on their porch, and I was introduced as Reverend Rose, which I was, I go, oh, don't introduce me as Reverend. I don't want to be Reverend right now. And the first thing I got was from this very intelligent man, so what's Jesus telling you to do about Trump? And I just looked at him and I said, I can see you're very smart. I can see you're an intellect. But when I did that, I had his eyes. I was seeing him. I see you're an intellect. And he got it. And he changed the conversation. But he kept looking over. And we didn't stay long, and when we were leaving, we got up, and he was very gracious, and he looked at me and he said, I'd really like to talk to you. And seeing him for who he was, I said, I know you would. And his eyes twinkled, and we hugged. And it was a beautiful connection of spirits when I could have gone into a place of trying to defend and explain during that whole visit. Do you see? See how in that moment everything can change? We always have a choice to really see someone. We always have people in our lives that are going to push our buttons. Instead of resisting, really see them. Because in that moment, you can become the connecting link between them and God. Defensiveness in anyone is just a sign of separation. And it only gives more power to whatever you're resisting. Challenges, circumstances, and people are areas of possibility for our growth, for our awareness to something newer, better, higher. Conflict brings us to the edge of our resourcefulness, doesn't it? It makes new things happen. It forces us to break new ground. And it leads to rebirth and transformation. That one YouTube I saw with the two different, after Pulse, the two different groups protesting, both opposite. And then someone dropped the signs, they went, we're all one. And then they joined together. We're getting it. So much is happening that we're starting to get it. In John 3:3, Nicodemus asked Jesus about the kingdom of God, and Jesus answered, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born anew, he cannot see the kingdom of God. It's time for us to be born anew, to see differently, to rise up. Our soul's purpose is not to make the noise of the world go away, but to be reborn into an awareness of the beauty under it. To become that connecting link between the noise of the world and what we call Christ consciousness. Every challenge, every difficulty in life, in this world, is an opportunity to ask, what is my purpose in this situation? So just think about some of the things going on in your life right now, some of the places of challenge, and allow yourself time to connect, to feel that connection to God, to spirit, to energy, whatever you call it. But you know it when you feel it, don't you? Everything inside you changes. So when you're in front of that person, when you're in that situation, stop and ask. Go away with this week. What is my purpose in this situation? What is my purpose? So I want you to take a minute. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to bring whatever that challenge is right up in front of your own face right now. Whatever that challenge is, just sit in it for a moment and ask, what is my purpose in this situation? Take a few minutes, sit with it, and ask that at least 2 more times. What is my purpose in this situation? And then take a breath. Bring your awareness back to the room. Just know that'll be moving around inside of you the rest of the day. Whatever is happening in life is there to bring you in greater alignment with the truth of who you are. Whatever is happening in this world is here to bring mankind into greater alignment with the truth of who we are. This week, become conscious that you, that we, that the world is being called to rise up, to find a greater sense of wholeness and oneness on this planet. I invite you to accept the calling by finding the beauty under the noise. God bless you.